Hi there, I'm William Earnhardt. I'm a Bible worker in the Florida area, and I would like to share with you another brief Christmas season devotional. And this one comes from Matthew chapter 2, beginning with verse 16. It says, "Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, In Ramah there was a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not." I read this and I can't help but think how insecure Herod had to be. I mean, here you are, the ruler of a world empire, and yet you're intimidated by a baby that might one day grow up to be king. How sad when you think that there are people like that, even in our world today, that are so easily intimidated by other people. You know, when we're grounded in God's love, we're not going to be intimidated by others. And this can happen even in the church. You know, I've done evangelism in churches where people were afraid the church might grow and people might come in who will take their positions away from them. I remember doing Bible work in a small church in Texas where it was all older people. And I was studying with a group of teenagers from the high school who were baptized and joined the church. And when they came in, they had ideas about music and maybe some other things too, the worship service order and everything. And while all that was going on, I remember one of the elderly ladies in the church took me aside. And she said, "William, don't let these people take over our church." And I wasn't thinking quick enough to ask her, since when was this just our church? It's God's church. It's the young people's church. And we shouldn't be intimidated by young people. We shouldn't be intimidated by people coming into our church that might take our positions that we have. In the book of Numbers, there were people prophesying during the time of Moses. And some of the people came up to Moses and said, "These other people are prophesying. Stop them. You're the prophet." And Moses' response was, "I wish everybody was a prophet like me." Now, there was a humble man in Moses who was grounded in the love of God. He had seen God's glory. He had seen God say that he's a God of mercy. And being grounded in that love, Moses was not the least bit insecure. He was wishing that others would prophesy just as he prophesied. He wasn't afraid of people taking his position away from him. He was there to mentor others. And we should do the same. We should be glad when other people are taking leadership in the church. When they're taking initiative, we should be there to help them, not be intimidated by them. There we go. I'm speaking like 4-syllable words there. I think, man, we shouldn't be intimidated by them. We should encourage them. We should be grounded in God's love so that we're not narcissistic and insecure like Herod was, while here he was, this ruler of an empire, and still was being intimidated by a little baby. Let's not be intimidated. Let's be grounded in God's love Let's encourage others. And if you have any questions about God's Word, I would love to help you. I would love to encourage you. You can reach me at racer3@gmail.com. That's RACERTHREE@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Meanwhile, I hope you have a very blessed and prosperous Christmas season.